So World War II was a war that was full of iconic submachine guns. The United States had the Thompson, Britain had the Sten, Germany had the MP-40, Russia had the iconic PPS-41. But what a lot of people don't know is that there was a weapon that came along after the PPS-H that replaced it. You see, the PPS-41 is really cool. However, the Russians wanted a newer submachine gun that had a couple of improved features. This is that submachine gun, the PPS-43. What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lovers? Welcome back to the channel. Yes, today we are in fact doing a video on the PPS-43. A lot of you history nerds have been begging for this video since you saw it start popping up behind me on my wall. Some of you non-history buffs probably have no idea what the fuck this is, but that's okay, let's go over it. The PPS-43, as mentioned, is a Russian submachine gun. It's direct blowback and fires from the open bolt, which means you pull the trigger, the bolt goes forward, and it slam fires around, which allows you to cycle the weapon. It fires the pistol caliber of choice in Russia at the time, 7.62 by 25 out of these stick magazines. No drum for this bad boy, unfortunately. It has a folding stock, which we will get into later, but I know what you're thinking. Brandon, shut the fuck up. I just want to see this shoot. First of all, watch your fucking language. Second of all, yeah, we can do that. Thing just makes you want to defend the shit out of Stalingrad. So now what exactly is the PPS-43? Or the PPS, as we like to call it. Or the PPs. You know, in celebration of Pride Month and all that, we figured we'd do a whole dedicated video on the PPs. Anyhow, to really address what the PPS-43 is, we have to talk about its older brother, the PPS-H41. Now, I know a bunch of Russians get butthurt when I call it the PPS-H41, even though that's literally what it's called. They pronounce it a little different. It's like the Pepish or the Papush or something like that, hence the Pepeshaw. But the PP in PPS and PPS-H both stand for submachine gun, pistolet pulemyot, or something like that. The SH in PPS-H41 comes from the designer, Shpagin. However, the sh sound in his name is from a Russian character that doesn't exactly exist in the English alphabet. The closest thing we have is SH, which creates the sh sound for us. So for us, this submachine gun is called the PPS-H41. And if you don't like that, I cannot express to you how much I don't give a shit. But moving on. Anyhow, Shpagin's gun over here was an awesome subgun. Firing from either stick magazines or drum magazines, this thing was an absolute bullet hose. It fired at a cyclic rate of around 1,200 rounds per minute, which is stupid fast. Basically, it fires about twice as fast as an AK. Which was also kind of a problem in some cases, because having enough ammo for all of their soldiers and the Soviet Union kind of go together like milk and a hot summer day. So aside from dumping valuable ammo far too fast, it was also pretty heavy. The PPS-H41 comes in at about 8 pounds without the magazine, which is pretty hefty for a submachine gun. Again, that's even heavier than your standard AK. So the Soviets held a new batch of weapon trials, basically a newer submachine gun that would fix a few of these issues. Mikhail Kalashnikov is actually a part of those submachine gun trials, fun fact. But the winner, of course, was the PPS-43, designed by Alexei Sudayev, God rest his soul. The S, of course, in PPS standing for Sudayev, so Sudayev's PP. The PPS-43 cut that cyclic rate way down, in fact, just about in half, and also has a neat little folding stock here, which allows you to make it more compact instead of a fixed wooden stock. On top of that, it was also able to reduce the weight of the gun by about 1.25 pounds. And having just about the entire submachine gun made out of stamped sheet metal, it made the gun very easy and cheap to manufacture. All this while still retaining the original caliber of course, 7.62 by 25 Tokarev. This is the Tokarev, aka Russia's totally not a 1911 bro, I promise. Chambered in, again, 7.62 by 25 Tokarev. It's a neat little handgun. Now, of course, that's me shooting at small targets very far away, where, for reasons we won't get into, the Tokarev was more designed to take out things at a slightly downward angle at point blank. I can't believe you've done this. Well, now that we've capped their, commanding officer with the Tokarev, if the rest of you wouldn't mind politely just facing the wall. Remember, kids, America doesn't consider it a war crime if you were our ally when you did it. All in all, during World War II, they ended up making about 2 million of these things. And speaking of 2 million, at time of recording, we are a few thousand subs away from reaching 2 million subscribers. Hell, by the time half of you are watching this, we'll already be at 2 million subs. And to those guys, thank you so much. And if you're watching while we're still at 1.99, well, you guys know what to do. Go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss cool new content like this. So before we take this thing apart, how do you use the PPS-43? Like, what are the controls? This is stuff you might need to know. Imagine it's 1943, you're in Stalingrad. You're surrounded by the enemy, your city is being besieged, and you're running out of food, and the only thing you have to defend yourself is a PPS-43. Nah, maybe that's too old school. Okay, I got it. Imagine it's 2022, you're in Mariupol, Ukraine. Your city is surrounded, and you're being besieged. You're running out of food, and all you have to protect yourself is a PPS-43. First of all, your magazine release is right behind this little stamped shroud here. So this is your mag release. It's a little tab. Considering when this was made, it's actually a pretty nice little mag well. Fits really well. And again, this is an open bolt submachine gun, so all you have to do to rack the gun is pull the bolt to the rear and it will stay open. Once again, showing you the gun is completely clear. Then all the trigger does is get out of the way of the bolt because the trigger is actually what is holding the bolt to the rear. So when you pull the trigger, the bolt slams forward and it fires around. As long as you have that trigger held down, this gun will keep firing. Next up is your safety, which I'm not gonna lie is a little awkward. So you got this big stamp tab here. So you're gonna be pulling that to the rear and this is gonna pop up. And so what that does, capture the bolt to make sure it can't come back. Alternatively, if you have the bolt already open, you can put it up here and you are now unable to fire. So it's a little stamped slit that comes up, or a stamped piece of sheet metal that comes up. You can see it through this little slit here, and it captures the bolt no matter what position it's in, whether it's open or shut. It is, however, a little bit of a pain in the ass. So I would just suggest not being a jackass. As for collapsing the stock, you've got this button here on top of the gun. You press that, and then your stock is free to swivel up. Now you're gonna take this and do a little loop-de-loop there, and this folds right in on top of the rear sight. Your sights are, frankly, nothing to write home about. You've got a little rear notch here with your hooded front sight right up front on top of this very iconic barrel shroud. But yeah, it's a crudely made open bolt submachine gun. You don't have to go crazy with the sights because you're just kind of going minute of man at close range anyway. So it's just your irons, nowhere to mount stuff like, for example, this cool new micro red dot that I got out of this month's Tac Pack, also colloquially known as Tac Pack. Tac Pack, of course, is a subscription box where you can get all sorts of cool shit, like this SOG knife and this Hex Mag AR-15 magazine. Like I said, if you're into that, Pride Month. Got our Rifle Things t-shirt, which actually, pretty cool. Jurassic Park throwback shirt, which is pretty fitting because we have a Velociraptor-sized fucking karambit. I feel like Alan Grant about to disembowel a child. Here. And if you sign up now using the links down in the description and in the pinned comment and use the code TheAKGuy, all one word, you can get a free mystery item that's worth up to $50, on top of all the rest of the cool stuff you get in your Tac Pack. So the links are below if you're interested. Thank you to Tac Pack for sponsoring this video. Now back to the PPS-43. Wow, that sure was a lot of words. Time for an ADD break. For this segment, we're gonna be shooting 2 of these beautifully plump watermelons. I think back in the store, they referred to them as mega melons. Giggity. I think Kentucky Ballistics would have something to say about this. And as a bonus for extra potential watermelon destruction, we've actually got some brand new hollow points here that I'm planning on testing out because I'm curious to see if this actually cycles a little bit better than the Polish Surplus full metal jacket that we've been using. All right, planting some high velocity watermelon in 3, 2, 1. Slight malfunction there, but wait, there's more. Yeah, it was a little chunky. This is your melon. This is your melon on capitalist propaganda. What I mean by that is because we're a capitalist country, we have way more food than we'll ever need. We could just shoot at it. I love how fucking simple the action of this gun is. I've got to show you this. Also, get the watermelon off my fucking gun. There is no shit 2 casings stuck inside, rattling around from that mag dump alone, rattling around in the fire control group of the gun, but it is just so fucking simple that that was not affecting the function of it whatsoever. So disassembly on the PPS-43. So it is an open bolt direct blowback subgun. It's a tube gun, as we call them. There's not a lot to it. It's pretty simple. So you're gonna hit this tab in the back of the gun. So move the stock out of the way so you can see it. This little tab here. Gonna push that in, and the whole gun kind of hinges open. This right here is what we call the lower of the gun. This is where the mag well is. This is where the fire control group, pistol grip, trigger, all that is. And as you can see, the main point of the trigger here is to just get out of the way of the bolt. So when this is together and the bolt is back, that trigger is what's holding onto it. So when you pull the trigger, it's just getting out of the way and letting the bolt do its thing. So in our upper here, this is literally just a stamped upper part of a tube. You've got our bolt here with a spring. This is what makes it do gun things. When it comes to the rear, push back forward, fire another round. So now let's pull this out of the gun, and you have our spring assembly and our bolt. So this comes out like so. It's just this little tab in here that links this to the bolt. As you see, you've got on your bolt here, you have a through hole in the middle. This rides in this groove. Goes in like so, and then it is cut out in the side of the bolt and houses the spring. Your spring, of course, also being your ejector. As you can see on your bolt face here, you have a fixed firing pin. You've got your extractor up here. That's what pulls the rounds out of the chamber, and your spring assembly, little plunger there, kicks the rounds out as it is moving through the gun under recoil after it's fired, which kicks the shell casing out, in theory. And as it's coming forward, this bottom lip here catches the next round in the magazine and pushes it up, and that fixed firing pin fires the round as soon as it enters the chamber. So yeah, this is a super simple gun to build, you know, as a machine gun. However, doing a semi-auto conversion on this is kind of a motherfucker, which is why these kits have been cheap for so long. You know, there are ways to convert this to semi-auto. The parts kits I'm referring to, of course, where this has been cut up. This, of course, is re-weld. This was built from a parts kit. This is a hard thing to make hammer fire semi-auto because the whole gun is built to function as a very simple open bolt. So the semi-auto conversions can get kind of complicated, and they're a pain in the ass. So remember, kids, what did Uncle Brandon teach you? It is way easier to build an open bolt submachine gun than it is a semi-automatic. The more you know. So there you have it, the PPS-43. Now, if you like videos like this about historic machine guns, be sure to subscribe and go down in the comments and let me know what machine guns you would like to see next. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and as always, I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks, guys. My obsession to make the perfect weapon, like Rasputin's rise to the top. But the PP in PPS-43 and the PPSH, fuck.
Just keep saying PP.
The PP, but the PP.